Hello, I'm audible. Good evening, everyone. To all, welcome to amazing webinar on cyber law and punishment. Our speaker is Harshita ma'am. She's also CEO and founder as well as a cyber security consultant and trainer at Key Cyber. Welcome, ma'am. You can start webinar.
Thanks, Chetan. Shall we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So thanks for the introduction. So today we are going to discuss about cyber law, that everything you need to know. Okay. So basically, what is cyber law? It is any law that applies to the internet and internet related technologies. So it is one of the newest areas of the legal system. Because internet technology develops at such a rapid pace, cyber law provides legal protections to people using the internet, and this includes both businesses and everyday citizens. Understanding cyber law is of the utmost importance to anyone who uses the internet. Cyber law has also been referred to as the law of the internet. As yeah, today's session is only specially for the girls. Okay, so yes, all are using social media networks, social media, different handles. Are you using Gmail? Anyway, any kind of internet things are you using? So yes, you are also aware of about cyber attacks and their punishment too. Okay, so today we are going to discuss different cyber law, different sections, and what will the punishment for them. Okay. So basically, if you wanted to pursue your career in a cyber law, then yes, it is a nice option after a BA or LLB. Okay, because if you wanted to become a cyber lawyer, so yes, you need to complete your LLB. And also, if you are a cybersecurity person, if you are doing cyber investigation courses, ethical hacking courses, digital forensic courses, but yes, as a sake for a knowledge, you are also aware about cyber law because it is the most important thing. Like if you are working at any organization and or let's take example of cyber cell. If you are working in any cyber cell and one case came to you for investigation. So what you will do? Okay, you will just recover, you will just extract the deleted data, whatever the case happen with that particular victim. Okay. So after that, if suppose the case comes under identity theft, so as a cybersecurity person, you need to know about what will be the punishment for this act only, not the deep knowledge, but at least you need to know about, yeah, identity theft comes under section 66, comes under section 60, section 43A, B, C, D, etc. Okay, so this is all about cyber law. So yes, you just need to know about each and everything about cyber law, like yeah, sections, their statements, and the most important punishment. Right? Cybercrime and cybersecurity. That areas are related to cyber law include some cybercrime and cybersecurity. With the right cybersecurity, businesses and people can protect themselves for a cybercrime. Cybersecurity looks to address weaknesses in the computers and networks. The International Cybersecurity Standard is known as the ISO 27001. Okay, basically, cybercrime or yeah, cybercrime happen with anyone, like any government organization, any startup companies, any MNCs company, any personal on any personal level, etc., etc. Right? Then it is also cybersecurity policy. is focused on providing guidance to anyone that might be vulnerable to cybercrime. So this includes some businesses, individual, and the government. Okay, so how we can differentiate those three things. Okay, businesses, as last 2 or 3 months back, there are so many companies data will be leaked, right? Domino's, McDonald's, etc., etc. So this comes under business. Individual, cyber stalking, cyberbullying, pornographic act, etc., etc. Then even the government, in government organization, as we say that PMC Care Fund, Care Fraud, then they are collecting money from people, but someone have created some fake website of government organization, right? So this comes under government. So many countries are looking for a ways to promote cybersecurity and prevent cybercrime. So, for the instance, the Indian government passed the IT Act in 2000. So, the main goal of this law is to improve transmission of data over the internet while keeping it safe. Okay, as our Indian judiciary, there are so many rules and regulation, but our judiciary system is very slow. So that's why if suppose the case is happening in 2021, so that culprit will be punished in after 10 or 20 years later. Okay, so this is our judicial system. So just we need to focus on that, see how we can improve our judiciary system for a fast track cases. If it is a rape case, if it is a cybercrime case, okay, because whenever we will file a complaint in a cyber cell, that is someone has created a fake account. Okay, they are just saying, don't take tension. Okay, some of your friend have created your fake account, but no, it is a very sensitive thing that if suppose someone has created your account, it is enough. But because of that account, if suppose the owner of that fake account have posted your photos, have shared your deep nude photos on any social media handle, so yes, it is a dangerous for you. So it is the most important thing that whatever the crime will be happen to you, at least just take consultation from any cyber expert. They will told you how to get rid of this solution. Otherwise, yeah, if you are stuck at any big problem, yes, you just need to go to the police station or cyber cell. Yeah, information is another important way to improve cybersecurity business. For example, can improve cybersecurity by implementing the following practices. That is, offering training programs to employees, then hiring employees who are certified in a cybersecurity, being aware of new cybersecurity threats and cybercrime can be committed against government property and people. Yeah, that is the most important thing. That is sharing is caring, right? Yeah, all we are cybersecurity persons. So yes, every day we are sharing different attack information on our WhatsApp status, on our Insta stories, on our Facebook stories. But yeah, normal people just ignore it. No, it is a very long article, so I don't want to read it again. Okay, so this kind of thing. So that is most important. Sharing is caring. At least people will be aware about it. But yes, people didn't notice those articles, those posts. And if suppose the same crime happened with them, so they will come to us and they will told us that yes, अरे तूने वो स्टोरी जो शेयर की थी ना वो क्राइम मेरे साथ भी हुआ. So how to get rid from this situation. So this kind of thing. So that is most important. Cyber awareness, it is the most important part. Okay, for government employees, for our cyber our police officer also need cyber awareness stations, right? Because I don't know, have you worked with any police officers or not? But yes, they also need. If suppose they didn't know what is 2FA, so how they will? Okay, if suppose in a cyber cell, okay, at our CBI, Gurugram, those are biggest cyber cells. But every city has a one cyber police station. So whenever you will go to launch any FIR, so they will ask you what happened with you. So अगर मैंने बोला कि someone has created fake account of mine, so what they will told, just don't take tension, but they will not providing me some security tips, right? If suppose, yes, I know I'm a computer science girl, then I have a cybersecurity knowledge too. But what about commoners? Okay, if suppose that police officer tell that common people that please enable two factor authentication, please make your password strong by using number, special character, letters, etc., etc. Okay, so these security solutions, if suppose police will provide to the common people, so at least that cybercrime will be late. But yeah, they will just told us, don't take station, just file your FIR, we will see. Okay, but they will never see those normal cases. Okay. Then yeah, there are three categories of cybercrime. That is crime against people. While these crimes occur online and they affect the lives of actual people, some of these crimes include cyber harassment, stalking, distribution of a child pornography, various types of spoofing, credit card fraud, human trafficking, identity theft, and online related libel or slander. Then next one, that is crime against property. Some online crimes happen against property such as computer or a server. If property it comes under cybersecurity, so just change property to the computer and the network. Okay, it is not our family property or etc. Like so, this crime include DDoS attacks, hacking, virus transmission, cyber and typosquatting, computer vandalism, copyright infringement, and IPR violation. Then the last one, that is crime against government. So when a cybercrime is committed against the government, it is considered an attack on that nation's sovereignty and an act of a war. So cybercrimes against the government include hacking, accessing confidential information, cyber warfare, cyber terrorism, and pirated software. So this is all about categories of cybercrime. So now we will see directly sections and their punishment. Okay. Okay. So now our first section, that is section 65, tampering with a computer source document. So what is exactly section 65? So we will go with the one statement and their punishment and whether it is compoundable or not. Okay. Tampering with computer source documents means whoever knowingly or intentionally conceals, destroys, or alters, or intentionally or knowingly causes another to conceal, destroy, or alter any computer source code used for a computer program, computer system, or a computer network, when the computer source code is required to be kept or maintained by law for the time being in force, shall that person will be punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years and a fine which is up to rupees 2 lakh, and yes, it is compoundable. Then section 66, that is computer related offenses. Okay, I have not listed section 43. There are 10 sections before section 65. Okay, I'll just list the name because section 66, it is a combination of sections 43. Okay, so the section 43A, that is unauthorized access. Then section 43B, I guess that is unauthorized downloading, extracting, and copying. Then section 43C, that is computer virus, worm, and contaminant. Then section 43D, that is damaging a computer. Then section 43E, that is disruption of a computer. Then section 43F, that is denial of service. Then section 43G, facilitating unauthorized access. Section 43H, that is tampering, or manipulating computer. Section 43I, that is destruction, deletion, or alteration. Section 43J, source code theft, and Section 43 capital A, that is failure to protect data. So Section 66, that is computer related offense. It is a combination of Section 43 small a to Section 43A capital A. Okay, so let's see what is Section 66. What is the statement of Section 66? If any person dishonestly or fraudulently does any act referred to in a Section 43, so that person is punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or a fine which is up to 5 lakhs. Then also it is a compoundable section. Then next come to section 66B, that is, okay, we will discuss later in deeply, but just first we will go with overview of every section. Then section 66B, as about section 66A, that is sending offensive messages. It is scrapped from our IT Act, and it is not concluded in our Information Technology Act of 2000. Okay. Then section 66B, that is dishonestly receiving stolen computer. So what is exactly the statement? Then whoever dishonestly receives or retains any stolen computer, resource, or communication device, knowing or having reason to believe the same to be stolen computer resource or communication devices shall be punished with imprisonment which may extend to 3 years and a fine which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. And yes, it is a compoundable offense. Then next, that is section 66C, that is identity theft. So what will be the punishment of identity theft? Yeah, imprisonment up to 3 years and fine which is up to 1 lakh rupees. So what will be the statement? Whoever fraudulently or dishonestly makes use of electronic signature, password, or any other unique identification feature of any other person shall be punished with imprisonment of either description, which may extend to 3 years and fine which may extend to rupees 1 lakh. Then next, that is section 66D, punishment for cheating by personation by using computer resource. So what will be the statement? Whoever by means of any communication device or any computer resource cheats by personation shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years and a fine which may extend to rupees 1 lakh. Then next, that is section 66E, that is violation of privacy. Whoever intentionally or knowingly captures, publishes, or transmits the image of a private area of any person without his or her consent under circumstances violating the privacy of the person shall be punished with imprisonment which up to 3 years and fine which may extend to rupees 2 lakhs. And yes, it is a compoundable section. Then the last, then the second, that is section 66F, that is cyber terrorism. It is the only one IT laws in our IT laws. Only this section having imprisonment for a lifetime. Okay, so it is a very serious section in our IT Act. So what will be the statement? Whoever with the intent to threaten the unity, integrity, security, or sovereignty of India or to strike terror in the people or any section of the people by the first one, that is denying or cause the denial of access to any person authorized to access computer resource, otherwise then attempting to penetrate or access a computer resource without authorization or exceeding authorized access, otherwise introducing or causing to introduce any computer contaminant, and the most important, that is by any means of such a conduct causes or is likely to cause death or injuries to person or damage or destruction of a property or disrupt on knowing that it is likely to cause damage or disruption of a supplies or some services that is essential to the life of the community or adversely affect the critical information infrastructure. It is specified under section 70. So yes, imprisonment, which is extended to lifetime imprisonment, and yes, uh, this offense is not compoundable. The next one, that is punishment for publishing and transmitting obscene material in electronic form. Yeah, that is what will be the statement. Whoever publishes or transmits or causes to be published or transmitted in the electronic form any material which is lascivious or appeals to the prurient interest or it is affect it such as to tend to depress and some corrupt persons who are likely having regard to all relevant circumstances to read, see, or hear the matter contained or embodied in it. So it shall be punished on the first conviction with the imprisonment or up to 3 years and fine which may up to rupees 5 lakh. In second conviction, imprisonment up to 5 years and a fine which may extend to 10 lakhs. Okay. Then next section, that is publishing or transmitting of material containing sexually explicit acts in an electronic form. Okay, so what will be the statement? Whoever publishes or transmits or causes to be published or transmitted in the electronic form any material which may contain sexually explicit acts or conduct shall be punished on a first conviction, imprisonment up to 5 years and fine which may extend to rupees 10 lakh, and it is not compoundable for first conviction. For second conviction, imprisonment up to 7 years and a fine which may extend to 10 lakh rupees, and also it is a not compoundable offense. Then next, the next section 67B. In simple manner, it is a child pornography. Whoever publishes or transmits or causes to be published or transmitted material in any electronic form which may depict children engaged in a sexually explicit act, so that person it is liable for this section, that is section 67B, child pornography. So what will be the punishment? In the first conviction, imprisonment up to 5 years and a fine which may extend to 10 lakh rupees. Then on a second or subsequent conviction, imprisonment up to 7 years and a fine which may extend to 10 lakh rupees. Then next, that is section 67C, preservation and retention of information by intermediaries. So what will be the statement? Intermediary shall preserve and retain such a information as may be specified or such a duration and in a such a manner which is in the format of a central government may prescribe. So for this, imprisonment up to 3 years and yes, in IT laws, fine they have not declared. So I don't know what is exactly the compensation those who are liable for a section 67C. Then next, that is section 68, power of the controller to give directions. Any person who intentionally or knowingly fails to comply with any order under subsection 1 shall be guilty of an offense. So that person is liable for this conviction to imprisonment up to 2 years and a fine up to 1 lakh rupees. And yes, it is a compoundable. Then next one, that is section 69, interception or monitoring or description of any information. Where the central government or a state government or any of its officers, especially will be authorized by the central government or the state government as the case. So, in this behalf, may, if it is satisfied that it is necessary to expedient that the interest of the sovereignty or integrity of India will be the defense of India's security of the state. So, it is a friendly relation with some foreign states or a public order for preventing incitement to the commission or any cognizable offense. So the punishment for this section, which is up to 7 years, and also they have not mentioned what will be the compensation amount that those person who is liable under this section. Then next, section 69A, that is blocking of information for public access. Okay, like yeah, in a simple manner, central government, if suppose like any other government website have huge traffic, and in that traffic some of the hacker organization attack on that servers or on that website, so yes, government have authority to block that site. Okay, so it is in a simple way what exactly the section 69 is. So for that, imprisonment up to 7 years and fine, and also it is not compoundable. Then section 69B, that is monitoring and collecting traffic data. Okay, in a simple manner, yeah, the statement is very difficult to understand. Monitoring and collecting traffic data. Every website, okay, you are visiting any website of government. So whenever you will type a website URL in your search box, so yeah, they will ask you that please accept cookies, then and then you will able to see our website. Okay, so if suppose you are looking for any government job vacancies, etc., etc., okay, if you wanted to apply, so yes, you need to first create your account, then and then you will able to apply for this job. Okay, right? So whenever you will surf on any government website, they are asking you to accept our cookies, then and then you will able to. Otherwise, there is a one pop-up, please agree our terms and conditions, then and then you will able to surf our website. Okay, so by using this, so yeah, they are monitoring and collecting traffic data. Okay, there are, if suppose there is a one post for digital forensic analyst at Gurugram Cyber Cell. So there are number of applicants will be there. So number of applicants are creating their accounts and they're applying for the job. It is in a secure manner, right? But if suppose some of the hackers have created any phishing website of government job employment, so yeah, this kind of information will be collected by that person. So that person will be liable under this section, that is monitoring and collecting traffic data. So for that, imprisonment up to 3 years and fine. Then section 70, that is protected system. Yeah, the appropriate government may notification in the official gazette declare any computer resource which directly or indirectly affects the facility of critical information infrastructure to be protected system. Okay, so the basically what exactly in that, if suppose the government if the appropriate government by order in writing to authorize the person who are authorized to access any server or any protected system notified under the subsections. Okay, let's take example of if you are working in any big MNCs, so everyone have login ERP. Okay, whenever you will put your correct email, user ID and password, then you will able to login into your PC, and then you'll able to work on that PC. Okay. So it is in the same manner, that is protected systems. Okay, any government website or any like, let's take example of DigiLocker. Okay, if suppose someone is attacking on DigiLocker website, so everyone knows about DigiLocker. That is, people are used to store our all government IDs in a digital locker, right? Like our Aadhaar card, PAN card, driving license, or any other government ID. Okay, this comes under DigiLocker. If suppose someone is attacking on DigiLocker website by doing DDoS attack or any any attack, if suppose that website will get break, so yeah, each and every detail of every person, those who have created DigiLocker account, will get revealed. Okay, so that person will comes under section 70, that is protected system, and for this imprisonment up to 10 years and fine. Then next, that is 70B, that is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, that we know that if any bomb blast happens in any city of our country, so yeah, there is a one response team based in Mumbai, Delhi. Okay, in a crowded city. Okay, let's take example of the terrorists have planned to attack, have a bomb spot on 26th of November at Mumbai CST station. Okay, yeah, it is happened past 10 to 15 years ago, right? So this thing will happen. So at that instance of time, okay, simultaneously bomb blast at CST, at Nariman Point, at the Taj Hotel, right? At different, at cafe, etc., etc., right? So at that time, when police get to know that yes, some terrorists come by, some terrorists come and they are attacking on our different places, right? So at that instance of time, there is a one response team. This response team will directly contact to Navy. This directly contact directly to soldier, directly to any other government agency, right? Like they are talking to our CM, they are talking to our PM. So how to proceed further, right? Because our police officer have only AK-47, AK-47 not, but yeah, AK-47 or our normal pistol. So yeah, these kind of things should be happen. So at instance of time, every Indian computer emergency response team will be there at the suburban cities like Mumbai, Delhi. So this is about our physical security. But if suppose, like take example, Pakistan will be attacking on our every government website if it is related to job, if it is related to central railway, bus, then colleges, university, etc. Okay, Pakistan have decided to attack on our every government website. So for that also, every web developer will directly get to know that yes, something is happened with our website. Okay, if suppose our website is created by my two teammates. Okay, so if suppose someone is attacking on our website, see, they will directly get to know that yes, someone is attacking on our website by doing DDoS attack or any attack. So they directly ask me to how to stop that attack, right? So what we will do? So we will close our website for 2 or 3 days, and later we will enable our services to others. Okay, otherwise we will block that IP addresses, etc., etc. Will be we will do. Okay, but this attack is going to be very vast. So what will we do? What we have to do? So yes, we directly contact the incident emergency response team. So according to that, they will give instructions. So how to deal with that? So how to get rid with that situation. Okay, the first one, that is collection, analysis, dissemination of information by on a cyber incident. Okay, this is the most important. If suppose someone is attacking a DDoS attack on Indian Railway website, So yes, we need hackers or we need pen testers to patch those vulnerabilities. Okay, then and then our website will be get secured. Okay, then another one that is forecast and alert of a cybersecurity incident. Yeah, this is most important. If suppose DDoS attack is happening on Indian Railway website, and the pen tester don't know which kind of attack is which kind of attacks are doing Pakistani on our government website. So yeah, there is no use. So yes, it is most important that is forecast and alert of a cybersecurity incident. So the next one that is emergency measure for handling cybersecurity incident. Then the next one will be coordination of cyber incident response activities. Like we need to take each and every bit by bit notification that yes, this kind of thing happened at 6:15. Okay, so after that, at 7:18, we have a block that IP address. After that, also they are trying to attacking on our website by using VPN or proxy servers. Okay, so these kind of things we need to analyze and we need to take note of it. So for that, that person which is liable under this section, for that the imprisonment up to 1 year and the fine which may up to rupees 1 lakh. Then next one that is section 71, that is penalty for misrepresentation. Okay, that is whoever makes any misrepresentation to or suppresses any material fact from the controller of certifying authority for obtaining any license or electronic signature certificate. So yes, that person which is liable for this punishment and imprisonment up to 2 years and fine which may up to rupees 1 lakh. This section tends to yeah, every founder of a company have digital certificate, right? Digital signature, digital certificate of their digital signature. Okay, yeah, you all yeah, most of the people have done Gurugram Cyber Cell internship. Okay, whenever you have completed your internship. Okay, after 2 or 3 weeks later, Rakshit Tandon sir have posted one story on their Instagram wall that is those who have completed their internship and those who will get certificate. Whenever you will post certificates on any social media platform, just hide all signatures, right? Because there is a signature of Rakshit Tandon sir, then SP of Gurugram Cyber Cell, etc., police officers. Signatures are there. So why? Why they have told to hide that signature? So yeah, by using those signature, anyone can mob those signature. Anyone can make a misuse of this signature. So that's why that Rakshit Tandon sir posted on that social media post that is whenever you'll upload a certificate, please hide those signature. Okay. So this is all about different sections of IT Act, their punishment. Okay. So up to now, anyone is having doubt?
Anyone you have doubt, ask me, ma'am will be clear your doubts. No one have a doubt.
Okay, good. So there are less people. So shall I proceed further or shall we close?
It's up to you.
Okay, we will see the last one that is yeah, we will see last part of a cyber law. It is the most important.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, the most important that is hierarchy of criminal courts in our India. It is for cyber law also and other crimes too. Okay, the first one that is Supreme Court. Like, we will start from below. The first one that is judicial second class magistrate. So yeah, can sentence up to for up to 1 year's jail. Okay, like if any small crime happen, like someone is harassed you by walking on road, or someone is harassing you on internet, and that police identify that person, then and there judicial second class magistrate can sentence that person up to 1 year jail. Then the next one that is metropolitan magistrate, judicial first class magistrate. So they can sentence for up to 3 years jail. Okay, it means that like जितने भी sections है in IT Act, in IPC, in POCSO Act, okay, तो जितने भी sections है, जो भी sections 1 year jail के होते हैं, वो सिर्फ judicial second class magistrate तक जाएंगे, and those sections, those who are liable for a 3 years punishment, तो जो भी सेक्शंस होंगे वो मेट्रोपॉलिटन मैजिस्ट्रेट और जुडिशियल फर्स्ट क्लास मैजिस्ट्रेट तक जाएंगे. ओके, देन द नेक्स्ट लेवल दैट इज चीफ जुडिशियल मैजिस्ट्रेट एंड चीफ मेट्रोपॉलिटन मैजिस्ट्रेट. So they can sentence for up to 7 years jail. Then upper one that is assistant sessions court can sentence for up to 10 years jail. Then upper that is sessions court, district court, additional sessions. Okay, assistant sessions court, chief judicial magistrate, metropolitan magistrate, metropolitan magistrate, judicial first class magistrate, judicial second class magistrate. Those court terms comes under sessions court, district court, and additional sessions. Okay, those are not the small courts. Okay, in a district court there are different branches of each and every section. Okay, so sessions court or district court can pass any sentence authorized by law. Death sentences are subject to confirmation by the High Court. Okay, if suppose like yeah, in our India there is a no death penalty for the rapist, but yeah, someone is brutally murder anyone, and that person is sent for death penalty. So yes, sessions court or district court can announce the punishment, but yes, they need permission from the High Court. Okay, so for that they need to take permission. They need to send each and every detail of that culprit or each and every detail of that case, and then the High Court will decide that death penalty. They will say that death penalty will be yes or no. Then High Court can pass any sentence authorized by law, and Supreme Court, it is the uppermost part of our Indian judiciary system, that is can pass any sentence authorized by law. Okay. Then next one, hierarchy of authorities court under IT Act. We will go for down. Okay, the first one that is adjudicating officer. Then second one that is affiliate tribunal. Then the third one High Court, and the fourth one is Supreme Court. Okay, appellate tribunal and adjudicating officer will come under sessions court or district court. Okay, so yeah, it is most important that is fee. Okay, like if you wanted to file FIR, so what will be the fees proceed by the police stations or a court? Okay, so every complaint of a matter to the adjudicating officer shall be accompanied by a fee. So it is payable by a bank draft down in a favor of the adjudicating officer, IT Act, at the place of a functioning of adjudicating officer in the state or a union territories. Okay, if suppose that adjudicating officer is at district court, So yes, you need to give your demand draft at their office at district court. If suppose that person, that lawyer is having his own office at their residence, so yes, you need to file complaint and give that money or give that fee at the residence only. Then it is the basis of damages claimed by way of a compensation from the contrivances on the rates provided below. Okay, so table of fee. The first one, that is damages by way of compensation and fee. Up to rupees 10,000. So 10% ad valorem rounded up to nearest next 100. Then from 10,001 to 50,000. Okay, damages by way of compensation means like yeah, in this we can say that someone is break your laptop by breaking on your throwing on its floor, or someone is break your headlights, etc., etc. Right? Because each and every crime which is comes under our judiciary system, right? So from 10,001 to 50,000 rupees, 1,000 plus 5% of the amount exceeding rupees 10,000 rounded off to the nearest next 100. Then third one, that is from 50,001 to 1 lakh. So rupees 3,000 plus 4% of the amount exceeding rupees 50,000 rounded to a nearest next 100. Then more than 1 lakh. So rupees 5,000 plus 2% of the amount exceeding rupees 1 lakh rounded to the nearest next 100. And fee for every application, which is only up to rupees 50. Then next, what will be the pro forma for complaint to adjudicating officer under IT Act? Okay, now we are just talking about IT Act. The first and most important, that is name of the complainant. Then second and most important, email address, telephone number, address of yours, address of complainant, and digital signature certificate, if any. Okay, if suppose I have okay, let's take example, that is I have conducted a 15 days workshop, paid workshop, and there are 30 students. So 15 students have paid me full fee, 10 students have paid me half fees, and 5 students did not pay me any fees, and they are not responding to my mails, they are not responding to my calls. So yes, I do have that much of authority, or I do have that much of right, so I can file complaints against them because they are not paying my fees, right? So yes, as an organization owner, I do have digital signature certificate. I do have electronic signature. So yes, I can attach my digital signature certificate to that of my company or of my personal level also. Okay, then name of the respondent, then email address, telephone number, address, digital signature, if any. Then damages claim. She deposited demand draft number. We need to this is only for adjudicating officer that we have paid this much of fee to the adjudicating officer. So demand draft number, dated branch of our bank. Then fourth one, that is complaint under section, rule, direction, order, etc. Then time of contravention, place of contravention, cause of action, brief facts of the case. Okay, time of contravention, it is the most important. Like someone have created your account on 6 p.m. Okay, like if you didn't recognize exact time, so at least you need to tell them, or you need to mention approximate time. Between 6 to 7, someone have created my fake account, because as you know, timestamp, it is a very manner in any crime. Okay, if it is a murder case, if it is a cybercrime case, if it is any case. The cause of action, place of contravention, then brief facts of the case. That you need to explain what is exactly happened with you. It is story narration, in a story narration type. Like someone has created my fake account. After that, they have sent friend request to my friends, colleagues, relatives, my family members. After that, they are messaging uh, defamatory words to my all Facebook friends, etc., etc. Right? And after that, your signature. Okay. So this is all about. from my side. If guys you have any queries, so you may ask me question. Otherwise, we will stop here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this webinar. I hope all partners enjoy and grab this knowledge about the cybercrime and punishment. Thank you guys for joining. If anyone have doubt, ask